Okay, I think I'm going to get started because we're at 12:31 and I did say I was going to try and keep it on the dot. So firstly, I'll say thank you very much. Hello, thank you for joining. I'm going to start with some housekeeping. So just to let you know, we will be recording this session, and that's so that we can send it out to everybody that is registered. So it's often really helpful if you can watch this back in your own time afterwards. We're going to give you a lot of information today. So there's also the Q&A function you'll see at the top. So if you do have any questions, please do pop them in the Q&A box. Hannah and I will be monitoring that, and then we will either, if it's anything related to us, we can answer it. If not, we'll pass them on to Tom from Octopus Legacy and see if he can answer them for you. We have got Tom today here with us from Octopus Legacy, and he will be sharing the main section of this webinar with all the will writing tips. So please do make sure you're comfortable. Will writing is obviously a legal topic, but we want to make sure that it's friendly, comfortable, a comfortable environment for you to all find out about how to write your will, or ask any questions that you may have. If you do have a question that is really case specific, we may not be able to answer it today, but we will put you in touch with Octopus Legacy and make sure that you get the right support for that question. So moving on, we'll get on with it now. So who are we? So the team today, we've got myself and Hannah. Charlotte unfortunately couldn't make it today, but I am the committed giving manager. I've been working with St Margaret's now for 3 years, and it is just the best job I can say I've had. I love talking to our supporters and seeing the impact that we have in our community. The job that St Margaret's do, it's so important, and as you probably know, and it just isn't possible for us to give the support we do without the generosity of people who choose to give us a gift in their will. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but Gifts in Will do fund 1 in 3 of our patients. So it really is a vital way to support. And we're really so grateful when people choose to do that. But I'm going to hand you over to Hannah and let Hannah introduce herself. She's with us today, monitoring the Q&As.
So hi everyone, nice to meet you. So I'm Hannah, I'm head of fundraising, and within my team I work very closely with Kim, who works hard to spread the news about legacies and gifts and wills and the fact that you can create a simple will for free. And then Charlotte looks after our legacies once someone has passed away, so working really closely with our executors to make sure that a supporter's wishes are fulfilled if they choose to leave a gift to St Margaret's. So very pleased that you're all here joining us, and I hope you find this session really useful.
And we've got with us, as I said, we've got Tom today with us, our charity partnership manager from Octopus Legacy, who is going to cover the bulk of the slides. You won't have to just listen to us. Okay. So what are we going to cover today? As we've said, we'll do a brief introduction. You won't hear from us for very long about St Margaret's and the importance of gifts and wills. And then we will pass over to Tom, who will do the main part of this presentation. And then we'll have a little bit of time at the end for the Q&A. So if you have any questions, put them in the Q&A box, and then we will look at them at the end and do our best to try and answer them for you. So onwards. So Hannah, over to you, a little bit about St Margaret's and what we're looking to do at the moment.
Yeah, so thank you, Kim. So hopefully this won't come as a surprise for anyone, but our vision here at St Margaret's is to ensure that we protect a future where we can deliver sustainable, high quality end of life care that is accessible, tailored and available as early as possible to people across Somerset, to ultimately ensure that they can live well and die well. We're also there for family members and friends of those people that are with us as well, because we appreciate when someone's going through a really difficult time, it affects their whole network. So we're here to support not just patients, but their families and friends. And our mission here at St Margaret's is to just continue delivering holistic and compassionate care, something that we feel incredibly passionate about. And we want to be able to empower more people to make sure that they can live fully and die with dignity.
Okay, and just a few numbers just to explain the depth of our services and how many people that we reach here in Somerset. So last year we cared for 5,680 people, including end-of-life lymphedema patients, plus family members and carers. We provided 213 admissions to our inpatient unit, offering expert short stay care for complex illnesses. We cared for 1,662 people at home through our multidisciplinary community teams. About 95% of our care is actually done out in the community. So our community nurses are vital out there in the community, getting out into people's homes and making sure they get the care they need. We received 7,096 calls to our 24-hour advice line, offering guidance and compassion at the most challenging times. So we don't stop. If people need our help and our advice, there is somebody, usually a nurse, on the end of the line 24 hours a day, and that service is free of charge. And we welcomed 238 people into our Sunflower Centre day hospice last year, offering peer connection, therapeutic support, symptom management and emotional care in a relaxed setting. A lot of people think hospice is just a building. It is so much more, and our services stretch out across our community and, like I said, are just so important. And the importance of gifting wills. As I mentioned earlier, 1 in 3 patients are cared for thanks to gifts in wills. It costs us over 15 million to deliver our care each year, and 70% of those funds need to be raised locally. So we rely on our community to help with that, because 100% of the care and support we provide is free of charge to the patients and families we support. So gifts in wills is a really good way of people helping us that can look to the future and help us secure our future. Now, this session is obviously about encouraging you to write your will, and we hope it does help you and give you some really useful tips. But we also hope that you'll consider, leaving a gift in your will as well. And at the end of this session, we will obviously send you out all the information and the slides from this presentation, but we'll also send you links to find out more information about us, our Inquirer pack, and also obviously the links to our free will writing service. So right, I am now going to shut up and hand you over to Tom and let you have what you're here for. Right,
Well,
Tom, over to you.
thanks very much, Kim. And yeah, thank you for having me. It's really nice to be here. So yeah, my name is Tom. So I'm the partnership manager, charity partnership manager at Octopus Legacy. So I've been here for about 2 years. And my role really is to support our charity partners and ensure they get the most out of our services. So I used to work at a charity myself. I used to work at Mind, the mental health charity, within the fundraising team. Yeah, in terms of what I'll talk through today, I've got a bit of an agenda, but just a bit of a disclaimer. I know a lot about Octopus Legacy and what we do and the services we provide. However, I'm not a solicitor or an estate planning consultant. So if you do have any kind of specific legal questions, feel free to still pop them in the Q&A. But if I can't answer them, I can go to our legal team and then maybe send the answers back to Kim and Hannah. But yeah, let's get started. So next slide, please, Kim. Oh, you're still there, Kim. Oh, there we go. Nice. So just a quick agenda. So yeah, a little intro about Octopus Legacy. Then we'll move on to how to write your will. We'll touch upon lasting powers of attorney and then how you can claim your free will through Octopus Legacy. So next slide, please. Great. You can carry on. Yeah, nice. So yeah, in terms of our background, so on the left there is our founder and CEO, Sam. So Sam started the company after he sadly lost his mum suddenly in 2016 in a car accident. Sam was in charge of all of the things that you need to do after someone close to you passes away. So looking after probate, conveyancing, funeral organization, etc. And he found everything incredibly inefficient, incredibly frustrating, and very cold as well. during, the most difficult time in his life. So he thought there must be a better way of doing this. So that's why he started the company. Originally, it was a place to simplify all of those kind of legal and admin headaches that happen when someone dies who's close to you. But since we've evolved into a company where people can also prepare for death, so wills, lasting power of attorneys, etc. Future state, we want to kind of house absolutely everything that you might need when someone passes away. So, conveyancing, house removals, etc., just to make it as easy as possible for people. Next slide, please. So there's been a lot of research into the financial cost or the financial impact when someone dies without having a plan. And when we talk about a plan, we're mainly talking about a will, but also lasting power of attorneys as well. There hasn't been much research into what the emotional cost is. So we've done a bit of both. There's quite a few numbers kind of floating around with regards to the financial impact, but this is the average extra cost to the friends and family of someone when they die without a plan. So £2,250 average. So especially with things like LPAs, it can be very costly, for example, to get control of someone's finances or property or health decisions if they don't have an LPA in place, for example. But it extends beyond that, and there's also an emotional impact. So just over half of people experience additional anxiety if someone close to them dies without a plan. 19% of people already struggle to pay for a funeral. So when you add the additional financial cost to that, it just adds to the burden. And just over 60% of people said probate took too long. So that's part of what we do at Octopus Legacy. We have a probate team. Of course, they have to deal with government departments, so that bit's outside of our control, but we try and make the process as easy and as human as possible. Next slide, please. And then the hardest part is taking the first step. So we're basically trying to make it as easy as possible for people to at least get the first version of their will, because half of UK adults don't have one. So that's why we're here. Cool. So moving on to your will. Next slide, please. So we think every UK adult should have a will, but there are things that increase that importance. Some of these are quite obvious, maybe some aren't so obvious. So if you have a child or you're a legal guardian of a young person under 18, a will is the only place where you can specify who you want the guardian of those children to be if you're no longer around. So for that reason, purely, if you do have children, really important to have a will to save the people that you love money and stress, as we've gone through, to say where your possessions go. That's quite obvious. If you're in a relationship, but you're not in a civil partnership or married, then if you die, then those people who, the person that you're in a relationship with but not married to or in a civil partnership with, won't automatically get your assets. So very important to specify that in a will. If you're in a home, you want to specify who that goes to. And if you are separated or divorced, it can change the terms of your will. So if that has happened, it's really important to revisit your will. Next slide, please. Things to consider. I won't go through all of these in too much detail, but what do you own? Which is pretty obvious. It could be assets, could be money, etc. Who do you want your estate to go to? When we say estate, it's basically a collective term for everything you own. Guardians, which we'll come on to. Any specific gifts or messages. We're very keen for people to be able to pass on gifts and messages, but also things that might have emotional significance, as well as the kind of practical stuff. If you want to leave money to charity, as Kim was discussing, is there anyone you want to leave out of your will? Your executors, which we'll come on to, and also there is a space for funeral wishes in your will as well. Next slide, please. So as mentioned, a will is the only place where you can appoint a guardian for your children or pets or young people that you're a guardian to. So for that reason only, it's pretty paramount to have a will if you are looking after pets or young people. So there's 4 bullet points here. The choice of who your guardians are probably will extend beyond 4 bullet points, but just a couple of things to think about. Do they have similar beliefs to you? Would you want them bringing up your children? Do they live close to existing family or friends? Like if they're far away, would it be quite an upheaval for your children or pets? Would your child need to change schools, and do they have children or pets of their own? So yeah, a couple of things to think about, but yeah, of course, a very important decision. Next slide, please. Then there's choosing your executors. So an executor is the person that is basically in charge of administering your estate. They're in charge of basically carrying out your wishes, in simple terms. So making sure that, the person or people that you've decided to distribute your assets to get those assets and carry out any last wishes. They'll also be in charge of applying for probate. If your estate is complex or large, this can be quite a big undertaking, and then paying any taxes or debts or funeral costs. So they're basically project managing, all of your wishes and all of your estate. It is a big task, and they are also legally responsible for that task. So it is an important decision as to who you want to be your executor. It can be a professional, so it could be a solicitor or us. It can be a friend or family member. It could be multiple friends or family members, or you can combine the two. So I'll go through those options now. Next slide, please. Yeah, so these are the three sort of main options. So again, this is an average figure, but on average, it takes about 35 hours of work to be an executor and to administer someone's estate. If someone's estate is complex or large, let's say they would to have multiple properties or bank accounts or a business or something like that, it could be considerably more. Your executors are legally responsible and accountable as well. So if anything does go wrong, if there's any mistakes made, they are responsible for that. So that's really worth bearing in mind. So the three options are family and friends. So there's pros and cons to both. With family and friends, you know them, and more than likely than not, you trust them, and they know the family context as well. However, it is a huge legal responsibility, and also it takes a lot of time. And very importantly, it could be quite stressful during quite an overwhelming and emotional time for them as well. So it's worth choosing someone who is organised, good with finances, and who you think would do a good job in a situation like that. The second option is professional executor. So we carry out executorship services, as do lots of other solicitors. So the pros is experience navigating, especially the probate process, especially for complex estates. The professional can do the work whilst you and your family focus on grieving. And if there are any disputes, they are a third party, so they're in a good position to resolve them. But it is a paid for service, and they may lack some of the context. So there is an option to do both. So you would nominate a friend or family member, but also you would have a professional executor. To be honest, the professional executor still does the majority of the stuff, especially the stuff which has a sort of legal angle to it, or an admin angle to it. But then you would have a friend or family member basically helping with the stuff which requires, input from the beneficiaries and the family and friends. So you have someone basically who is there, who knows the family context, who can speak to, the beneficiaries of the person who's died. But it is still a paid for service. So yeah, the majority of the work will still be done by the professional executor, and they assume the legal responsibility as well. Next slide, please. You can also include a trust in your will. So this would be considered a complex will. Just to clarify, with the charity offer, the free will offer is for simple wills. The majority of wills are simple wills, but there might be certain instances where a trust is needed. As part of the charity offer, complex wills are discounted, so we discount them by £100, so they're £299 instead of £399, so you still get a benefit. When you go through the process on the landing page, we do ask you a number of questions to help kind of ascertain if you might need a complex will. And then we encourage you to speak to a member of our estate planning team, and you can have a chat to them about your requirements, and they'll be able to let you know if you need a complex will. If you do, then you'll need to do that via an appointment with one of our consultants. But there's a load of reasons why you might need a trust in a will. It's basically sort of, if you want to add additional terms, like for example, if you wanted to leave money to your children or beneficiaries at a later age of 18. So let's say you wanted to wait till 21 or 25, that can be done using a trust. If you have any vulnerable children who might be getting benefits, disability benefits, then the trust would allow them to receive your estate gradually, because if they were to receive it in one go, it might mean that they're no longer eligible for those benefits. If you were in a previous relationship and you have children from a previous marriage, again, trust can help specify where you want your estate and money to go to. If you own a business, it can help specify how you want that business to be split up. So there's lots of different reasons as to why you might need a trust. If you do have any specific questions on these, again, probably one for our legal team. I wouldn't attempt to provide advice with trusts, but we'll be able to tell you if you might need one. Next slide, please. Storing your will. So we can store your will free of charge if you would like us to. We have a secure unit. All you need to do is sign it properly. We'll double check if it's signed correctly, and then we can store it for you free of charge. Alternatively, you can store it yourself in a secure place. You can store it at another location, like another solicitor that you work with. You can also register it with the National Wills Register. They're a separate company to us, and also they are a company. They're not affiliated with the government, so there is a fee, but it is the place which has like the most wills stored. So in the event that the will goes missing, there will be a copy of it there. I think there is a small fee. I think it's around £30 a year or something like that. But just to be on the safe side, it can be worth storing it there as well. Next slide, please. We recommend that you update your will at least every 5 years or after a major life change. So having children, buying a house, getting married. One thing to consider, I'm not actually sure if it's still happening. It depends whether Rachel Reeves keeps her job, I guess, but the government were planning on some inheritance tax changes to come into effect April next year. So for the first time, pension pots will be counted when calculating the size of your estate. So that's important on the basis that the amount of people eligible for inheritance tax will double. So it'll go from about 4% to 9%, because now that pension pots will basically increase lots of people's estates over the threshold of £325,000. So if you think that could be you, if you think your pension pot might tip you over that edge, it's definitely worth revisiting your will just to make sure that you're not paying too much inheritance tax. Next slide, please. Cool. Lasting power of attorney. So just one slide on here, but just to clarify, the lasting power of attorneys aren't free through the offer, the charity offer. So this would be an additional cost. There are quite a few options with LPAs. The first option is you can just download the forms from the government website, the Office of Public Guardian. So you can download them for free and fill them out yourself. There is a registration fee with the Office of Public Guardian. For both of the forms, it's £164. So just be aware of that. Also, if your forms are filled out incorrectly or they're signed incorrectly or something like that, I think the year before last, it was around 55,000 forms weren't done correctly, then you will have to pay the registration fee again. So if you do it yourself, just make sure that you're very thorough. That's why some people choose to do it with us or another professional body. So there's two different types of LPA. So one is for property and money, and the other is for your health and welfare. Essentially, these documents give your nominated attorney the right to make decisions on your behalf if you're not able to. So if you're not able to make decisions about your finances or property, they can do it on your behalf. And then the same with health decisions as well. If you don't have an LPA in place and someone is unable to make decisions, it can be really tiresome to assume that responsibility. You have to go through the court protection. It can take a long time. It can be expensive. And especially for decisions that need to be made quickly, it can be a real headache and quite a risk. The other thing to be aware of is if you're married to someone, it does not automatically give them the right to be your attorney. You have to specify it in an LPA. Lots of people assume that just because with wills, I mean, there is rules of intestacy whereby, your spouse will receive your estate, but not with last and power of attorney. So that's definitely something to bear in mind. Next slide, please. Probably the last thing you can, the other thing I can say is you can have one attorney or you can have multiple attorneys as well. Cool. And then lastly, how to claim your free will. So we can offer all of the different ways which you might want to write your will. So you can do it online. About 80% of our wills are written online, or you can do it over the phone. But we do recommend a video call instead of the phone. It's just a better experience. So through Zoom. Or face-to-face, so we can conduct home visits. So we have about 70 estate planning consultants around England and Wales. So they can come to your home and they can conduct an appointment. We can also do it in branch as well. So we work with a network of kind of like partners who will deliver the will in branch. And if you're based in Scotland or Ireland, then again, we can deliver it through partners too. So next slide, please. Nice. So the first step will be visiting the landing page. I think as Kim mentioned in the email, there'll be a link to this landing page, but this is basically where it will start. So when you click Let's Get Started, you are given 3 options. So either online, if you were to choose this, you would just carry on with the process, phone or video, or in person. If you select one of these offline methods, the next thing you'll see is a calendar view, and you can select a time for a call back from one of our estate planning associates. So next slide, please. Oh no, it's not. Anyway, I'll come on to it. But yeah, you can select a time for a call back from one of our estate planning associates, and they'll talk to you about your requirements and book in time for an offline meeting. We'll have a look at that sort of flow in a future slide. If you choose the online option, this is what it looks like. So you can see here, there's like an about you section, your family, your estate, how do you like to divide your estate, any gifts, etc. And then you can once you're done, you submit your will, and then a member of our legal team will manually check the will. If they want anything from you, they have any questions, they'll reach out to you. But if they're happy, then they'll let you know and your will be delivered. We're now printing and posting wills free of charge to everybody. Previously, people would have the option of either just printing it off themselves, which you can still do, and then getting it signed by 2 witnesses, or having us print and post it. But we're now just printing and posting it to everyone because it's just a bit more thorough. Next slide, please. And then in terms of the offline services, so yeah, as mentioned, you would speak to a member of our estate planning associate team. So they're the first point of contact. They're based here in London. They'll have a chat to you about your requirements and the options available. Each of the offline options. They'll then book in an appointment with one of the estate planning consultants. That appointment will take place, and then the consultant will pass over the instructions or information to the will drafting team. That team will then draft the will, and they'll share a version with you. They'll ask you if you're happy with it, if you want any edits made. When you're happy with it, then we will print and post it to you, and then you're able to sign it with amongst 2 independent witnesses, and then we can also store it to you free of charge. So we give you instructions of where to send it to. Next slide, please. Cool. And in terms of claiming your free will, so again, Kim and Hannah will send the details and the links through to you. The cost of a simple will is free. The RRP is either £100 or £150, so it's free through this offer. You do have the option of excuse me, you do have the option of opting for a subscription, an update subscription. So for an online will, it's £10 a year, and for an offline will, it's £30 a year. This basically gives you the option of updating it unlimited times during your lifetime, which can be quite handy, just basically so you don't have to pay for the will again. Lots of firms will just charge you again for the will when you need to update it. So this way you kind of avoid those larger costs. And of course, there is the option of leaving St. Margaret's a gift in your will. It's completely up to you, but there are two options. Either you can leave St. Margaret's or any other charity a residuary gift, so that's a percentage of your estate, so it could be 1% or 5% or 10% of everything you own, or a pecuniary gift, so that's like a set amount of money, so it could be 500, 5,000, whatever you'd like to leave. So those are the two options for charity gifts. And then phone in person, so either you can select it through the landing page, or you can just give the team a call. Feel free to just give the team a call if you have any questions as well. We can accommodate that too. Next slide, please. I think it's just a QR code. Yeah, it's just a QR code here. So either you can give that a quick scan, or you can wait for the email from Kim, but that'll take you through to the landing page. But that's everything from me.
Thank you so much, Tom. So that's hopefully given you lots of information of what to expect and shown you that wills aren't too scary, I hope. And as Tom said, we do hope that you will consider leaving a gift in your will, but it's not expected. There is no obligation to leave us anything if you do choose to use our free will writing service.